Well, after the last couple of videos of being at home and doing things in the garden, we are finally here, finally back at the allotments. We have arrived. It is Sunday morning. It's turning out to be a rather lovely day. It's pretty nice here. Allegedly, we are heading towards a heat wave this week. So I say heat wave, I think here in Scotland, the temperature is due to get to about 24 degrees centigrade, and I mean that's plenty hot enough for me. That'll do. That'll be a heat wave for us. But I just thought, you know, it's nice and early in the morning. There's no one about, and we're just heading towards the plot. See, we've just walked up. There's the beautiful allotment behind us there. But we'll come to that. I don't know. So those of you who watched me on Potty Mouth a few weeks back, I was telling the story about how somebody just down from me, just along the path here, got evicted from the allotment, and it's a horrible story. I don't like it, but there was one. It just gave me a little bit of a chuckle. One thing along the path. You walk down here. This is where I come to get my water from. You know, here's a tap just behind my shoulder. Then we'll come down here, and it was a lovely plot. And I don't know fully what happened, but let me just turn you around and show you what I wanted to show you. And the person came back to take all the stuff, which is fair enough. That's what you do. You take all your bits and pieces away. But she took the fence. So we can see here, this is the adjacent plot where the fence ends. And then all the way along here, all the way, there's no fence. The fence has gone. It has been taken away. We can go in the plot, out of the plot, which is just a bit, you can see where the fence post has been, where the big hole is. Which is just, I don't know. I just thought it'd be quite funny just to show you that. Nice and early in the morning, we'll have a look, we'll have a bit of a giggle. Although it won't be nice and early in the morning when I put this video out, it'll be later in the day, editing and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, right, back to the business end of things, back to the plot. Let me just navigate my way through the gates with one hand and trying to look and trying not to look. There's a few things I want to show you, and there's a job. I want to plant the leeks out today, and there's a bit of a technique to doing that, so I'll show you my technique. And the leeks, you know what? The leeks are just about the last sort of springtime, end of the springtime, start of the summertime sort of crop that I've got left to put out up here. And I don't know, and I've still, again, on Potty Mouth, the last time was on, we were talking about empty beds for Tony. So I was having a chat with Tony and mentioned empty beds, and I've got one over here. So this one here is empty. And let me come up here. Sorry for spinning around on the camera all the time, but you know, and I've got one at the end here, right at the end, that's still empty, and I kind of feel okay about it. I don't feel like there's a mad rush. I don't feel massively obliged to sort of, I must get something in there. But apart from a few lettuces that are left in the greenhouse, and I've got a bed over there where I'm going to put them, so I've got some lettuces to harvest. Now, actually, we'll have a look at them in a bit because they're looking really quite good. We've got lettuces to harvest, so they'll go back where the other ones have gone. And I don't really have anything left. Now, the one over the far side there is right next to where the comfrey grows up the fence. So the bed isn't shade. It gets a bit bashed by the comfrey and stuff like that. And I thought maybe I'll just make that a bit of a wildflower bed at some point. That's maybe it's a bit of a project for next year. So I'm quite happy just leaving that one. But I think the one over the far side there, the one at the back there, I don't know. I might go to the garden centre. I might buy some starts from there. I might go to the garden centre at some point over the next week or so, have a look and try to be inspired by what they have, what little plug plants they have to put out. There might be something there that just takes my fancy, and I think, I know what, we'll have them in there. Anyway, we've got the leeks to put out. They need done. Honestly, I've been trying to, was it last weekend I came up here? I think it was last weekend, last Sunday I was up here, tried to get the leeks out. I kid you not, I came up here and it never stopped raining. You wouldn't believe it today. It's a beautiful day today. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's, you know, what are we now, 7:30 in the morning? And we're easily at double figures temperature wise, and it's beautiful. It's going to be a lovely day. And it never stopped raining all throughout this week, up until about yesterday. It hasn't stopped raining. We've had rain pretty much every day. So I'm here, at last I'm here. The leeks in the polytunnel. We'll get them out, we'll get it set up, and we'll get them in the ground. So speaking of leeks, some of you might remember last year, this is the leek bed. The leeks that were in here were absolutely beautiful. They were looking lovely. They were just marvellous. And then the rats came, and I kid you not, in one night, or over, well, it might be a couple of nights because I wasn't here for a few days, they mowed down all of the leeks pretty much down to the level of the soil. Honestly, I was devastated. They weren't far off, ready, starting to be picked, starting to be harvested. And honestly, the rats came along and just mowed it down. I was devastated with them. It was, honestly, you know, when you put so much care and attention into something, and leeks is one of the things that I do that with. But this bed has pretty much been covered up since then, and I don't know quite what we're going to find underneath it. And what it looks like we're going to find is a lot of ants. So we've got the ants have moved into the bed. This has been covered up, honestly, since last winter. Let me come and grab you. I'll bring you over here. We'll show you our friends, the ant. So here we go. Like I was saying, this bed's been covered up all the way through the winter. This is sort of the first time I've come to move it. And look, here's our friends, the ants. And I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick it up there. We do film in 4K so we can get nice and close and a good resolution so you can see what's going on. But this is what I'm currently faced with. All those little white things you can see there, they're all the ant eggs, and you might be able to see the little ants sort of scurrying about, trying to take them away underground and hide them away from the big bad man who's just come and taken the cover off their nest. But I'm going to do something about that. I'll try and relocate it. I'll put it somewhere. We'll see. We'll get it sorted, and I'll be back in a jiffy. So our little auntie friends have been dealt with, and they were scooped them into the bucket, and there's a little sort of like wildlifey kind of area sort of thing back there where we all dump our organic waste over there. So if you've got any weeds and stuff you want rid of, we can dump them over there, and they've gone over there, so they'll make a nice little nest. And this bed is where the leeks go. It's a double height pallet collar bed, and you know what? I've uncovered it. The compost in it's absolutely lovely. It's really soft. At some point, I don't remember prepping it, to be honest. It's been here a few years, and it must have sand in it as well. I must have mixed sharp sand in it to give it a nice sort of texture, because I can see the little flecks of sandiness in it, and it's lovely. It's fab. It's just what I need for the leeks going in. And speaking of the leeks, here they are. They've been in the greenhouse for a while. Like I say, they probably should have been out quite a while ago. They're looking a bit tall, but I think the rule of thumb that people give with the leeks is, what is it? It's thick as a pencil kind of thing when it wants to grow out. And I mean, these are looking, they're quite tall. They're pencil-ish, you know. If you've got a bit of a thin pencil, maybe you'll do that. But the Musselburgh leeks, I don't think, you know, Musselburgh leek is one of the main leeks. I think it's one of the most common ones people do. It's really strong, reliable, good grower. I don't think I've ever done Musselburgh before. I think I've always done other ones. So I'm quite interested, when this is meant to be such a good, standard, strong, brilliant performing variety. I'm really interested to see how it's going to work out. But I mentioned before, we use a bit of a different technique to planting the leeks out to what we do with a lot of other stuff, and it involves this pointy stick. Now, this was in my shed when I took over this allotment 3-4 years ago now. This was in the shed, and this is pretty much the only thing I use it for. And what I can describe it as is a sort of short broom handle with a pointy end. And all I'm going to do is stick it in the ground and wiggle it around and make a bit of a hole, and that's all I'm going to do. And you probably can't see it too well from there. Actually, I was going to say I'll bring you over at the end, but what I might do is, if I put the first one here, hopefully the camera picks up there, but I will bring you over at the end so you can see more sort of what I've done in the bed there. But we just make a hole like that. Then if we grab one of our leeks, let's just pick on this one as a bit of an unsuspecting victim, and let me move a couple of things out the way, and we'll pull this big bucket over. Now, the only thing I've got in this bucket, and let me take my gloves off for this, is water. So I'm going to wash the roots. So all I'm doing by that is I'm going to shake the leek in there, and I want the compost to come off it. So I've just got the leek at the bottom and the roots. Now, some of the roots, some of them are short, some of them are long, and I'm just going to twist it into the hole and get those roots sort of going round in the hole. And we're going to leave the leek in like that. I'm not going to push the compost in around and about it. We'll use water to do that. So once I've got all the leeks in there, we'll water them in, and the water slowly pushes the compost. And when it rains and stuff like that, more compost will fall into the hole and slowly fill it up. Anyway, let me get sorted. Let me finish this off. Let me get these in. We'll bring you over. We'll show you these. And I just want to show you these lettuce and a few other things just at the end of the video there to see how we're getting on. So that's the leeks in, and let me show you how they look at the moment. So this is where we've just been doing all that work, and you can see the holes, and you can see the leeks. Let me just get in a bit closer. They're just sort of sitting inside the holes. I haven't sort of backfilled them at all. I haven't, if any compost's fallen in, it's just what's fallen off the edge when they've been in there. And there's my big old bucket of sort of compost water that I will endeavour to, you know, I'll just tip that on a bed. I'll just top up a bed with that. But I mentioned earlier on, like I said just there as well, I'm not going to backfill those holes like I would with a normal way of doing it. I'm going to try something here, and it might work and it might not work. I mentioned when they're like this, and that compost, that soil that they're sort of in there, it's really nice and soft and sandy and crumbly. So in theory, when I water it, it should start to fall into the hole itself, which is what we want. So I'm going to try and water it and hold the camera and show you this all at the same time. Now this might work and it might look wonderful and it might be the greatest YouTube video you have ever seen. Equally, it might be a bit of a disaster and it might be terrible, but we'll see how it works out. Anyway, let's give it a try. Let me turn you around here. Now I'm predominantly right-handed, so I'll grab the watering can with my right hand. We'll hold this with the left and we'll start just giving these a good watering. And you can see the holes will fill up with water and the compost sort of around and about. And again, right at the end here, we'll put the watering can down and we'll have a good look, because the water will settle, it'll start to drain down. Let's just make sure that everything's had a good watering up in the corners there, and I can just see one or two that maybe need a little bit more. Let's pop this down. I'm really surprised how well this has worked. And you can see those holes that we'd initially dug have just naturally, with the watering can there, and again, you can see where the holes are, you can see where the little shallows are, but they're still not quite 100% filled in. And when it rains over the next few weeks, which it inevitably will do here in Scotland, that'll just settle all this down, just fill it in a little bit more, and that's the leek bed done. So it's looking pretty good. It's not looking too bad. And let's just come down here. Let's have a look down here. Now, I've got a bit of a plot tour coming soon. I think next month, July, we'll have a plot tour out. So I don't want to give too much away just now. But this is where we're going to put the leeks that we've got left. So in here, this is where we've got the courgettes. We've got a couple of nasturtiums in there. Courgettes are looking pretty good, by the way. More about that later. But you can see over here, there's a big gap in the middle there between where the two metal support bars are. So I think we'll put the rest of the leeks in there, and that'll be a smashing place for them. Speaking of leeks, alliums, all that sort of stuff, I'm not going to show you yet. It's going to come in a different video. We're going past the garlic bed. The last few years, garlic has been great. Sketchy, looking sketchy this year. It's not looking great. But we've got some lettuce, you know, things. I think this year it's been a funny year. I think for a lot of people it's been a bit of a funny year. Everything's got off to such a slow start. There's been a million slugs that have come and caused problems. There's been all sorts of issues. But alas, the lettuce has started to grow really well. And let me show you this. We've got these are little gems and they're growing absolutely massive. And this was, honestly, there's one iceberg left here. There was about another 3-4 icebergs in here, but the slugs got them early on. But these little gems, look at them. I'm going to pick a couple of them today. I'll take one home. I'll drop one off for my mum and dad on the way home. But they're looking absolutely smashing. And I think even though it's just a lettuce, you know, it's just a lettuce. It's not really just lettuces are easy to grow. You put them in, off the go, they do the thing. It's just quite satisfying just to be starting to pick stuff, because it's been such a rubbish year so far that things are starting to come. Some of the early potatoes are ready. I'll be harvesting them. That'll be great to get them out the ground. Lettuces are on the go. There's been loads of rhubarb. The strawberries are starting to ripen. The sweet peas are starting to come out. Everything is just starting to look pretty good. But anyway, that's for the tour video that's coming. But that's the leeks done. We're all sorted here for the day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, folks.